iFILM, London. iFILM, London.
Well, just before David comes in, so his next fight will be December the 8th. We originally was going to go on December the 1st at Aintree, but you know, Tyson Fury's going the same night, and it would be a bit silly to, you know, I know that we've beat him in viewing figures and put him in the crowd, but you know, it's silly to destroy another promoter's chance of making a few shillings while he's still got heavyweight that he's feeling bonus to. So, we'll go on the 8th, and our opponent will be Skelton, who was originally scheduled for this fight actually, but AUDLEY wanted the fight, so we took AUDLEY, thought that it's time to come here with a good fight, put Matt on the card so that we could build the fight, and it's good. Matt wants to try and win the Lonsdale belt outright because you need one more win as well, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, ironically enough, the year that I've won it 3 times, and they changed the ruling to 4 times. You know, such as life. So yeah, it'd be a great opportunity for me.
Are you still keen on it after that performance?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You know, I don't want to take anything away from him. I don't want to. You know, people sometimes say that it was a foregone conclusion. But as we know, in the heavyweight division, anything can change. I think AUDLEY did come to fight, but I think David looked phenomenal. You know, that's me being truthful. I was there when I saw when he fought Skelton, and I was sparring at the time, and Skelton was doing things which I thought is not in his sort of boxing character, if you want, and he said that he thought he could sit under the jab, and again, Price made like tidy work of it. I don't want to take nothing away from David. He is, to me, at the minute, a very well-schooled heavyweight, and he has all the natural attributes. I feel that I can come to have a fight. I mean, obviously, people constantly go about my age, didn't do the amateurs. I started in the game when I was in my 30s, but you know, I still love it. I still love the fight game. I train. I'm in the gym on a regular basis, and I believe that you'll see definitely a better performance than what we're on tonight.
Could you put him under more pressure than perhaps other opponents? It's your style of fighting.
Yeah, I think that is my style. You know, and I've never sort of held my hands up and said I'm this finesse kind of a fighter. That is my game, and that's what I do. And hopefully, I'm not seeing that with David yet. And I'm not saying that he'll buckle under the pressure. You don't know. You know, every good fighter can adapt. But I feel that we've not seen him in that position yet. And as we all know, that is my fight game. And one thing I know, I'll be super fit for the fight and be able to do that.
Frank, is Aintree big enough for this fight?
We may have to. We actually are going to start taking the David Price on the road, called the David Price Road Show. We may move out of Liverpool for the next fight to give the other people in Britain a chance to see it. We're looking at a couple of venues, and we hope to name the venue on Tuesday.
Phenomenal night tonight. The atmosphere was.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, I'd like to come back here, but there's some pop star here called Peter Andre, I think, and we can't get him out. We've tried very hard to get the management to move him out, but they won't.
So Peter Andre has done what AUDLEY couldn't do tonight. Let's put Price out.
You could do my job, couldn't you?
Frank, you've got that jacket on. It's not the same jacket that you wore for Lennox Lewis.
The new suit that was made for this.
The new suit that was made for this fight, but is it because there's something that reminds you about the old Lennox Lewis days with David?
Yeah, the excitement. The excitement seeing all you guys out here. You know, I've not been in a venue packed like this since the Lennox Lewis days. You know, when the excitement was rocking from every fight. The crowd were here to see fights, and they saw fights, not just the heavyweight fight, the other type of fights. You've got to give it tonight. Liverpool have now got the biggest champion in the country and the smallest champion in Kevin Satchel. You know, so it's a great story to grow and continue. It was roughly about 21 years ago that Lennox Lewis destroyed Razor Ruddock. Many of you were there. So to me, and I've got to say that punch was better than the punch Lennox Lewis threw. He would have knocked Razor Ruddock out and the Klitschko's in the same night, that punch. So yeah, I am getting excited again, and I'm looking forward to going all the way. I postpone my retirement.
David, well done on Winston. Thanks.
What are your thoughts so far?
Shocked myself again really with the power of my punches. I didn't expect to do that toward the Allison so quickly. If anything, I thought of breaking down over a period of time and get to him after a good few rounds. But I think once I smell blood, I can finish the job, and that's what I've done with it. I took him out then. I'm just pleased he's alright, you know, because as I said before, I've got a lot of respect for Audley, despite the bad name he's got for himself. But you know, he'll always have my respect for what he's done and what he does, and I'm just pleased he's okay.
Does that say more about you than Audley, the way you finish it off?
Yeah, it does, yeah. Look at Audley coming at 17 stone 7, that was the lightest he's been in his career. Bar one, you know, in 2 fights he's come in that light, and one of them he puts down as his best performance, so I think psychologically he wanted to be that way for a reason, you know. But and when the fight started, I could see he had intentions of making a fight, but the first punch that landed on, it just it stung him, and as I say, it's not the blood and something else. But let's get to the facts. So the Allison, former European champion, fought every day for the world title. Probably 3 more punches at me then than he did with me today. And I've just done a number on him, which again, I surprised myself with. So
What about the atmosphere in there tonight, David? Was it different to what you've experienced before? It was fairly electric in there from my reckoning.
Completely different from anything I've experienced before. I thought it was good in 80 in May, but that tonight was phenomenal. When I was standing when to walk to the ring, you know, it reminded me of something that you'd see years ago, like Frank saying, the atmosphere. It was like a throwback. You know, this city, it's really capturing the city's imagination that I'm on my way to do something big, and the sport was amazing.
And does it enthrall you does it make you bigger? Does it make you more excited? Does it make you feel more intense, or does it put pressure on you?
No, you know, I try to just concentrate completely on what's going to be happening in the ring, and you know, in boxing the atmosphere is at its wildest when you walk into the ring. Because when you're actually engaging in a fight, people are like really concentrating on the fight until a big shot's landed and then it erupts. So I don't really worry about the atmosphere too much. It's just I soaked it all up walking in, and I've enjoyed the whole build up to the event. It's had a feeling of a big event all week, and I've said to myself, well, if I'm going to be involved in this kind of thing in the future, I need to learn to enjoy it, and I have pretty much enjoyed it.
When you land that right, which is becoming quite an item in your game now, do you know when it's really done the job? Do you get a great feeling?
Yeah, I just sense it. I mean, it was pretty obvious. I heard Audley there. He didn't hide it very well because it was a good shot off court, but I have developed a real killer instinct in the last year or so where the smell blood I'll get him after there, and obviously, you know, it was all mutual respect in the build up to the fight, but you see him there when I get in the ring, I mean business, and after the fight, you know, we can be friends again or whatever else, but it's strictly business.
And you said you surprised yourself. Are you still coming to terms with what you can achieve in boxing?
Each fight, each win breeds more confidence into me, and I've said before, if someone would have said to me 3.5 years ago in this building when I made a debut, do you think you could be heavyweight champion of the world? I'd have said yeah, but I wouldn't have believed it. But now, I truly believe I can become heavyweight champion of the world, and that's what winning and performing breeds the confidence. And you know, there's still room for more, and there's still a massive room for improvement, which is good there, because we've been doing this well at this level, and there's still more improvement, which can only tell about then, you know, it bodes well in the future.
You said you'll take things at your own pace. You've got your opponents in the next year there. Is that another step up for you?
Well, again, if you're talking progression, Audley Allison was a world title champion and a former European champion, with gold medalist. Matt Skelton, you know, there's no denying he's been a better professional than Audley Allison and achieved more in the professional because he's been British, Commonwealth, European, fought for a world title. You know, he's been a right handful over the years, and so yeah, it's a natural progression again. And obviously Frank's the man who's manoeuvring me, and he thinks it's going to be a good fight, and I think it is. I think it's a fight that can you know, I bring something out of me. It'll obviously test me. If Matt's rugged, he's coming on good forward, and it's going to be a different type of fight, and it's going to be, you know, good for me development.
David, did he actually, I mean, he was famous, he landed one punch against David. Did he actually catch you? He threw a few punches at you, but did he actually catch you?
I think no, he didn't touch it. He didn't touch it. But I was really getting the feeling that he was coming in with intentions of having a fight. So it was, I weren't surprised by that. I could see it in his eyes. He didn't have the look of fear that I usually see in his eyes. It was all like he was here to prove a point. And you know, I've got to say it, I feel sorry for the man. I really do, because no one will give him the time of day in boxing. And you know, as I say, he hasn't had a bad career, but if he would have done, you know, he was trying to do the same to me. I'm sure if he would have done that to me, he'd have been delighted. So I'm obviously over the moon.
What did you say? I saw you talking to him after the fight when he recovered, and you talked for about half a minute in his ear. What were you saying?
I just told him, you know, I've got all the respect and reserve for him, and I always will have. And you know, as far as I'm concerned, he's been great for the game. So I just wanted to let him know that I appreciate it.
Was he someone you looked up to when, you know, in 2000 when you were coming through those rounds?
Yeah, big time, big time. To be honest, people always used to say to me, like, do you think you beat that Audley Harrison? And I used to go, no, not really, because he's good, you know, and he wouldn't deal in the goal, but as I say, the winning the big, the confidence, and got to the point where I was convinced I was going to win, but I didn't expect to do it.
Frank, there was talk of a fight in Atlantic City, but that seems to have gone cold now. What's the situation with David as regards to the US?
Well, tonight he made his debut in America. He was live on American TV. That we had a message from the TV company, Wealth TV, who bought his next fight as well, and they just said they can't believe it. They said this is definitely the future of the heavyweight division, and you know, they'd like to talk to us about him going to America. But you know, it's a progression and a jigsaw we're putting together, and it's like building a block, you know. And this man sitting to my left, you know, he's going to do something. I know him from day one. I saw him in the gym the very first day he walked in the gym, and I've watched his career. I've been involved in his career up to he won the European title, I believe. So I know what he brings to the table. You know, there is a reason I picked him. There's a reason I pick every opponent, and I think he is the most dangerous opponent we've got. He's coming to he brings something that David never had to face before. He'll come in rugged. He'll come in like a bull. You know, we know that, and it's something David hasn't had to face yet. So we're hoping that we hope David's going to win. We hope he's going to learn something from that fight. And obviously, the plan for that fight will be drawn up by Franny, who the fight time I've ever worked with. He doesn't get the praise, but he's in the background. He hasn't got foot wrong yet with this fight. You know, tonight you had two Olympians boxing. The gold medalist and European champion, who was fighting in front of 6,000 people. Was fighting tonight in front of about 1,200 people in a leisure centre in Bluewater, where my wife spends all my money shopping. And we had a bronze medalist. You know, we started his career in front of 1,100 people, fighting tonight in front of 8,500. So whose career is going the right way? You know, he's the future of British boxing.
Frank, do you know how badly Audley was? I mean, is he
he's
still
gone
here?
to hospital, but he's you know, got a little bit of mild concussion really. I mean, his nose is broken, I've been told a couple of places. You know, I agree with what David said. I'm sure Matt would say he did come to fight tonight, and that could have probably been his downfall. I'm sure Ronnie would. You were pleased with that fight, was it?
Yeah. We thought it'd be a bit cagey. We thought it'd probably last a few rounds. And I told him if he called him in to be patient and not rush in, because Audley can sit back on the ropes and counter with that left hand. But like David says, he's smelling the finish, and you know he knew how Audley was, so he made the right judgment and to get the fight finished as quick as he could.
When have we seen a heavyweight with a finishing instinct like that? We haven't seen many, and he's done it in his last few fights. You know, whatever you want to say, once he smells blood, he goes in for the kill, and we ain't seen. You know, we've got to go back to the time.
We're all excited about it.
Oh, I was excited, so I'm going to tell you.
Oh, you're not excited.
But,
Did you say anything to anybody about his speech yesterday when he was going to carry on anything? Was you made any remarks?
No, he was invited, but he's gone to the hospital, you know. We'll talk to Augie tomorrow. But,
Would you be surprised if he called it a day now, Augie?
I think he'll go back to America and retire, yeah. I mean, what is there for him to do now? He doesn't, you know, it's sad when you see good fighters, and he may not be a great pro, but he was a great ambassador for us in the amateurs, you know. He first British gold medal at super heavyweight, you know. What he done wrong, I believe, is he tried to reinvent the wheel, not only box, be the promoter, put the chairs out, sell the programs, train himself, and it doesn't work that way. You've got to have a team around you. The most successful fighters in this country have had a team.
David, I guess you could go all the way to a world title blasting people out quickly, but do you feel like you need a test, like you need 12 hard rounds?
No, not particular. I mean, like Tyson never wants to do. If I can get to the top and doing that, then I'm obviously going to take that route, aren't I? And flash the people out. But as I said before, I think my next fight is going to be a test me, something different, and it's going to bring something different out of me again, and all part of the education moving forward. And there is going to be a time where I have to box 12 rounds. You know, we're only human at the end of the day, but you know, at the moment, taking people out and protecting.
Don't get paid for overtime.
Is that everything?
Sorry,
Just had a question for David. I'm just wondering, in your mind, do you have an age of when you'd like to be the world champion?
No, not in particular. I'm 29 now, but I mean, so maybe 30 yeah, would be brilliant. If not 31, but that's in the next 2 years. I think that's a reasonable age to get to the top. Because when I get to the top, I want to be able to stay there, not just be flashy.
Matt, you were closer than most to the fight. There anything in David's maybe that the fight lasted that you could take advantage of?
Sorry, can you say that again?
If you were closer than most
to
the fight you were commentating and analysing, is there anything in the fight, in David's fight in the period that we saw?
No, you know, the fight was so quick, and I've always said David is a good ambassador for the sport, but he's also very, very good. You know, I'm not going to lie, I'm not, no point in sitting in trying to, you know, tell you something different. I think, obviously in the first few seconds, they were both come from good amateur schooling, and you could see that where they were kind of like trying to side each other up. And as soon as David caught Audley clean, he couldn't stand with it. And I've always said that if a man's due credit, give him credit where it's due, and he's proved himself. And not like that, you know, I don't know him on a great personal basis, but at the times I've met him, he's a gentleman, and I think that's what sport needs. I think at the same time though, as David knows and Frank knows me from old, I will come to fight. I've never had the schooling of these guys. I've never had, you know, I never put on a pair of gloves for any type of boxing sport to the age of 21. I turned pro at 35, and like I've gone and won the British European and just done it with my kind of raw talent, what I've picked up along the way, if you want. And I believe that I'm still hungry, and I'm glad that I've been given the opportunity, and I'll definitely be coming to fight.
Great, thank you, James.